Heath. Pretty good matchup between these two teams. St. Bonaventure has won 5 straight games. It's been a while since they've done that. Very talented backcourt for St. Bonaventure, led by the freshman Jay Adams, coming off a career-high 26 points in his last game against Ohio. And for the Pittsburgh Panthers, coming in at 5-3. The Panthers haven't been at home in about a month, so this is a return to where they feel most comfortable. Very talented starting lineup, including the addition of Cameron Wright, the senior guard, making his return to the starting lineup for the first time this year after missing the first 7 games, 10 weeks with a broken right foot. Mark Schmidt, the head coach of the St. Bonaventure Bonnies, 0-6 in his career against ACC teams as the head coach of the Bonnies. Our officials today, Brian Kersey, Brian Dorsey, and Michael Roberts. Michael Young will jump tip for Pittsburgh. Sloppy start.
Yeah, you know, right now, really important for St. Bonaventure just to establish some, get a comfort zone coming into Pittsburgh, the Peterson Center, where Pittsburgh is 25 straight wins. That's not easy. He's a veteran team.
A long time since Pittsburgh lost a home game to a non-conference team.
You can see right there the strategy of Pittsburgh when Yusu Indoy, when he gets the ball down low, he's a 7-footer. He's the biggest guy on the court. They're going to surround him, especially on the dribble, and try to strip the ball from him.
Indoy is a factor, especially on this end of the floor. 10-plus rebounds in 5 straight, averaging more than 3 blocks a game.
A double-double guy. You always like to have a guy like that in your lineup.
Here's Wright. Lost the ball. Bonnie's on the move. Jay Adams, the talented freshman. We welcome those of you who saw Wichita State beat Detroit. Here in Pittsburgh, just underway, still scoreless between Pittsburgh and St. Bonaventure. Zach Zabin and Stan Heath with you.
Well, right now you see both teams establishing themselves defensively. Neither team has been able to get a good look. Seems like the turnover bug has plagued both teams to start this game.
The Panthers have won 25 consecutive home games against non-conference opponents, thanks in large part to that kind of defense. St. Bonaventure features a very talented backcourt. Ball State transfer Marcus Posley and the freshman Jay Adams out of Baltimore. Some experience back in the lineup for Pittsburgh, Stan. Cameron Wright making his first start of the year. Missed 7 games with a broken foot.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's excited to get Cam Wright back in that lineup. They've been struggling defensively off the bounce, and he gives them that experienced, tough guy who can guard the dribble. He's a slasher. Really going to help this Pittsburgh lineup.
Shot clock under 5. Robinson in the paint.
That's the matchup we're going to want to see a lot of. James Robinson against Jay Adams, the freshman point guard for St. Bonaventure, off to a great start.
Handel Cumberbatch taking it to the hoop. First bucket of the game.
Yeah, Cumberbatch is a guy who does a little bit of everything for St. Bonaventure. Actually leads them in assists. He's a good defender, very versatile player. Nice drive to the basket.
Pittsburgh likes to work the ball around the perimeter. Very good passing team. Jamel Artis from way out.
Now, Pittsburgh, by putting Cam Wright into the lineup, has gone to a smaller lineup, but a very skilled team that can play inside and out with their big guys. When you look at Young and Artis, both versatile big guys. You'll see right there, it's going to stretch the big guys for St. Bonaventure. They have to come out and challenge those shots from the outside.
Yusu Indoy backing his way in.
Here's Cameron Wright right here. He's missed. He was out 8 weeks. He was supposed to be 6 to 8 weeks, but he was out 10 weeks with a broken foot. And, you know, it's good to see him back in the lineup. Very key player for Pittsburgh. Defends, guards the other team's best player, and can score by driving the basket.
Wright misses the three. A year ago, he averaged 10.5 points per game, more than 3 rebounds a contest, and just understands what Pittsburgh likes to do out there on the floor.
Yeah, I spoke to Cam right before the game, and I asked him, I said, what are the things that are going to be a factor for you in this game? Are your legs okay? Is your rhythm back? And he felt fine. I think normally when a player's out this long, I think physically he's fine, but just getting into that feel of the game, that's going to be the key for Cam Wright.
Off the curl, the nice jumper goes down by Chris Jones.
Chris Jones is a very good shooter. He's a catch-and-shoot guy who can also play off the bounce. Good three-point shooter. Pittsburgh executing very well with the pin-down screen for that elbow jump shot.
Game tied at 5 here in the early going. The three way off by Bosley. Right with the hesitation. Missed the bump. Rebound taken down by Artis.
I believe Jamie Dixon's going to sub Cam Wright just to let him settle down a little bit. He's being aggressive offensively, but right now his team hasn't really played with him a lot since he's been out so much. And I think he's got to kind of fit his way into this system offensively and not force things.
5 all. 4.5 minutes gone by. Adams forces the three. Underneath, the runner goes for Artis.
You know, Pittsburgh, they're so good with their interior passing. They're a team that you collapse inside on penetration. They find each other very well. A team that's on the plus side, the assist-turnover ratio. They really share the ball well.
Bodies are fueled by their backcourt. Pittsburgh's defense, though, giving St. Bonaventure some issues early.
Nice defense by Pittsburgh right there, stepping in to take the charge. And right now we go to break, Pitt up 2.
You're watching ESPN's Holiday Hoops, presented by Kay Jewelers.
Holiday Hoops presented by Kay Jewelers here at the Peterson Event Center in Pittsburgh. The Panthers leading St. Bonaventure 7-5 in the early going. Zach Zaidman alongside Stan Heath. This is really a matchup in the backcourt to watch today.
Well, two guys I've got my eyes all over right now. You got Jay Adams, the freshman guard for St. Bonaventure, and then you have the junior guard, James Robinson. Both guys coming off their career highs in their last particular game. Jay Adams, first time for him on a stage like this, playing at an ACC environment. James Robinson, his coach has been asking him to be aggressive offensively. We know he can pass the ball. When he's scoring, that's a different dimension to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, St. Bonaventure on a 5-game winning streak, its longest in 13 seasons, and this, for them, is an opportunity to test themselves against one of the big boys of college basketball.
Well, Mark Schmidt, the head coach for St. Bonaventure, he's done a great job. He's a guy that it seems like his team is always underappreciated, picked 10th in the A10, and always kind of hovers around the top of the league, actually winning the championship 2 years ago in 2012.
Pittsburgh just happy to be back home for the first time in a month. Joseph Achebu misses the turnaround.
It's so unusual for Pitt not to play a whole lot of home games in November, December, but going out to Maui, then they played in the ACC Big Ten Challenge at Indiana. It's been a while since they've been here.
The Panthers have not played here at home since November 14th, a stretch of 6 games. They went 3-3 during that stretch. Losses at Hawaii and Indiana on the road, and then 4 neutral site games. Ball knocked out. It'll be Pittsburgh basketball.
In the long run, it'll help Pitt. Jamie Dixon's playing with a lot of younger guys this year. Obviously, we know Deron Johnson is out for the year, and Cam Wright just coming back. This is his second game back. We only played 1 minute in his previous game. So his team has got some games underneath his belt against high competition. And now you're seeing them playing against a good St. Bonaventure team that's off to a hot start.
St. Bonaventure hasn't won 6 in a row since the 1999-2000 season when the Bonnies earned an at-large bid to the NCAA tournament.
Right on cue, we talked about James Robinson being aggressive offensively. Nice job being ready to shoot and sticking the 15-foot shot.
But for Pitt to get back to more consistent play, it starts on this end with the defense.
Yeah, this has been unusual for a Jamie Dixon Pittsburgh team. They're normally so good on the defensive end, but they've struggled off the dribble throughout this season. And with Cam Wright now back in the lineup, I think that will help them defensively in a big way. You saw right there, they're able to close down the dribble penetration and convert defense into offense.
Chris Jones was able to get himself an opportunity to go to the free throw line here momentarily. Jamie Dixon comes in with 293 career wins. He's on pace to get 300 wins faster than the following NCAA coaching legends: Bob Knight, Dean Smith, and John Thompson, just to name a few. Mark Schmidt in his 8th year as the head man at St. Bonaventure. 112 wins with the Bonnies.
This is not the start St. Bonaventure wanted. You want to keep things close against Pittsburgh to start the game. They need to get a couple guys on track. Mosley is a big key for St. Bonaventure. Their leading scorer at about 15 points a game.
There's Wright making an impact with the steal. Hop step in the paint, falling down. Remember, missed 10 weeks with a broken right foot.
The one thing you're always concerned about as a coach with a guy like Cam Robbins been out so long is when he gets back into the game, what is his rhythm, what is his flow? And if he's forcing things and making difficult plays, it makes things difficult for your offense.
Loose ball foul on the rebound. The defense really fueling Pitt and the pace in this one.
Jamie Dixon has put a premium on getting his defense back to where it normally has been for Pittsburgh. Great block by Jones from behind, all ball.
The Panthers have forced 7 turnovers here in this game. Josh Newkirk, a sophomore from Raleigh, North Carolina. Jones misses.
Let's watch over the next few minutes with Newkirk in the game. He tends to change the pace for Pittsburgh. A guy that plays with blazing speed and can really shoot the three-point shot. Normally Pittsburgh's offense gets up and down a lot better when Newkirk comes into the point guard spot. And you'll see him and Robinson play a lot together.
Stand 4 double-figure games for Newkirk, including 16 last time out against Duquesne. He's the first player in Panthers history to commit to this university via Twitter. It's a new age.
The social media.
Jay Adams, big focal point, and another turnover. That's 8 for the Bonnies. Nice pass by Wright. St. Bonaventure basketball. Pittsburgh in control here, an 11-5 lead over St. Bonaventure. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Kay Jewelers. Every kiss begins with Kay. Pittsburgh leading St. Bonaventure 11-5 with 11:57 remaining here in the first half. Zach Zaidman and Stan Heath with you. And Stan, over the last 4 minutes and 48 seconds, St. Bonaventure 0 points, 0 for 4 from the field, 5 turnovers.
Well, the timeout couldn't have come at a better time for Mark Schmidt's St. Bonaventure team. And I'm sure in that huddle, he told his guys, just settle down. And when you're playing against a Pittsburgh team, trying to quick strike them, trying to score on 1 or 2 passes is very difficult. And that's what's leading to the 5 turnovers they have to start this game. So they've got to settle down, get some ball movement, get some screening, and they'll get some good looks.
There's one. Marcus Posley knocking down the 3. Started his college career at Ball State.
Very important that Marcus Posley is involved and engaged in this game. He's a big-time scorer, can play off the dribble and shoot the ball.
Posley averaging nearly 16 points per game. There's Newkirk.
Pittsburgh running a lot of ball screen offense right now. St. Bonaventure doing a nice job hard hedging and taking away the drive of the guard.
Robinson misses as the shot clock was running down. Posley weaving his way inside. Nice pass.
That right there has been the weakness in Pitt's defense, half-court defense right there. You saw right off the dribble, St. Bonaventure able to get into the paint, draw the help, and dish it off for a layup.
The reverse doesn't go for Young. Keem Alston with the ball. Cousin Prince. Jamel Artis. Ball knocked out.
You can see here early in the season, this has been a problem. You see Posley off the dribble going right by Robinson, getting into the paint, and a nice finish by Wright. Pittsburgh's defense has to take away dribble penetration.
Pittsburgh having some issues on the offensive end. 5 straight misses from the field. Pittsburgh with the ball up by 1. James Robinson coming off a career high 23 against Duquesne. Artis misses the jumper. Posley pushing the ball. Pittsburgh getting back.
It'd be nice to give the big fella Ndoye a touchdown low, get him involved in this game. He's a double-double guy for St. Bonaventure. The tallest guy on the court, 7 foot.
Ndoye did not start playing basketball, Stan, until he was 17. Was introduced to the game by his mom, who played on Senegal's national team, but he was a soccer guy.
Yeah, he's still learning the game, but his process has been sped up. He was fortunate enough to play with Andrew Nicholson, the 19th pick, playing for Orlando Magic. So he taught him a lot of things, and Ndoye watched Nicholson quite a bit, really helped him progress, being able to play underneath a guy who is so talented at the center spot.
Inside right with the turnaround. Rattles it in.
Wright just has an instinct to score. A guy that can play outside, he can play inside, knows how to put the ball in the basket.
So St. Bonaventure has rallied to take the lead. Inside, Young missed the jam.
A defensive breakdown right there for St. Bonaventure. You had three guys defending away screen action, and when the dribble penetration came, Ndoye comes over to help, but nobody rotates down. St. Bonaventure very fortunate. The missed dunk by Young. He doesn't normally miss too many of those.
Now he'll have to earn it at the free throw line. Ties the game up at 12.
There's three players on the other side of the floor for St. Bonaventure who never saw the ball. When the ball got penetrated baseline, nobody rotated and did what we call cover down.
Young lost 10 pounds in the offseason to be quicker and versatile. If he lost 11, would have jammed that in.
The coaching staff is really ecstatic about Young, the most improved player, probably the best player on the team right now. Does so many things for this Pittsburgh ball club, but a guy who committed himself by losing some weight, improving his speed and versatility.
Ndoye misses the jumper. Offensive board for Dion Wright. Good ball movement by the Bonnies. And going to the line is Akeem Alston. Tomorrow at 4 p.m., the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs battle big man Rakeem Christmas and Syracuse. Then at 6, UNC Wilmington squares off against number 4 Louisville and their monstrous front court. Our Holiday Hoops doubleheader begins Sunday at 4 on ESPNU, the home court of college hoops.
Akeem Alston, he's a guy that comes off the bench, and he is a driver. He's a guy that likes to attack the rim. So Pittsburgh right there, I'm sure Jamie Dixon and staff went over a scouting report, did not close out well on Akeem. He is strictly a driver. Make him a shooter.
Game tied at 13. Good ball movement by Pitt. Staying patient against the aggressive half-court defense by St. Bonnie's under 10 to shoot. Robinson working his way inside. Ndoye, the shot block. Artis is going to the line.
Terrific defensive sequence right there for St. Bonaventure. All the way till they got to the end. They didn't recover that blocked shot, and it allowed Pittsburgh to a little bit quicker to the ball to get an extra possession for the foul.
Jamel Artis averaging 7.5 points per game coming off a 9-point career high 10 rebound performance against Duquesne.
Here's a guy that Jamie Dixon and staff feels can do more for them. He's given them solid numbers. As you watch him, he's been fairly aggressive to start this game and very active. But a guy they feel like can give them more scoring, more rebounding, just has to be more aggressive.
They need him to bring the football mentality that he had in high school as a star receiver at that level.
Well, he looks like a big-time receiver. Look at the long arms. Guy can run. Terrific size at 6'7". He'd be a tough match. They just throw the lob up in the end zone in the corner. It's his every time.
Pittsburgh with a 1-point lead. Went up in the air, couldn't decide what to do. Nice pass by Ndoye.
That was a terrific pass by Ndoye. It's funny, I was talking to Mark Smith, the coach for St. Bonaventure, and he said sometimes when you have Ndoye, sometimes it looks like he can't pass and he has no understanding. He throws the ball out of bounds, and sometimes he drops him off like he's Magic Johnson. So right there we saw a terrific bounce pass leading to that foul.
Denzel Gregg at the line. Gregg is back, had to serve a 6-game suspension for a violation of team rules, and came back last game against Ohio at 4 points in 21 minutes. They're expecting big things from him.
Yeah, they are. They projected him as a guy who could be a starter, but coming off the bench, a guy that's going to play a lot of minutes. In his first game back, played 21 minutes. Right there, you always hate to hear about a guy being suspended and having to come back after a long period of time because it takes a while, just like Cameron Wright, to get your rhythm back. You saw right there, he starts the game off missing 2 easy free throws.
James Robinson with the scoop.
That's going to pay major dividends for Pittsburgh if James Robinson continues to be an aggressive offensive player to score. We know he's a terrific passer and playmaker, and now teams have to decide, is he coming in there to pass or is he coming in to score?
Power move inside by Mosley, make it a 1-point game. That layup moments ago by Robinson was Pitt's first field goal in 6 minutes.
Bonaventure has slowly got themselves back into this ball game, and now they're playing with a little more pep in their step, a little more confidence.
Too strong there to clean it up is Young.
Now, when you're playing a Pittsburgh team, you must box out, and part of that is on the penetration. If you don't rotate down, Pittsburgh is averaging 15 offensive rebounds a game. They can make a living on you if you don't take that away.
How about that? Adams with the steal and then the jump shot.
Yeah, you saw Luther there, just got the rebound through the outlet, and Adams just read the situation perfectly. Stepped in there and drilled the three. You like your point guard being savvy right there, and he's just hanging around, steps into the gap. He's a 50% three-point shooter.
Teams here in the Peterson Event Center.
Oh, they've been unbelievable here. It's been a tough place to play in, and I've been here myself, and you got the Oakland Zoos behind us, and they get things going, but we're just coming off exam week and kind of early, so teams the students are just now kind of getting into some things. This is a great environment and a tough play for the visitors to come in and win.
Robinson kicks it out for Wright, the free throw line. Jump doesn't go. And Gore gets the rebound. 10+ rebounds for him in 5 straight games. Mosley working on Robinson. And there you see the impact that Wright can make when he's in the right.
You see the thing we've been talking about, the other one with St. Bonaventure, how the rotation of covering down and taking away that baseline drift pass. Cameron Wright did a nice job just stepping in and giving his Pittsburgh team an opportunity to get their defense set again.
Welcome back to the ACC on ESPN. Zach Zaidman, Stan Heath with you from the Peterson Event Center, where Pittsburgh and St. Bonaventure are tied at 18. Moments ago.
Yeah, just before we had that break, Cameron Wright made a great defensive play. You can see here, he gets a steal, he throws it off the St. Bonaventure player, but it comes back and it hits Cam Wright while he's out of bounds, so it's still St. Bonaventure ball.
Wright back in the starting lineup today for the first time this season. He missed 10 weeks with a broken foot.
The shot clock reset. They felt Cameron Wright had possession of the basketball, and that's what gave St. Bonaventure another 35.
Bonnie's moving inside. Layup doesn't go for Greg. Gets his own rebound, spins inside. And Young trucks down the rebound for Pitt.
If it weren't for the early turnovers for St. Bonaventure, they might be up by about 5 or 6 points right now. They had 9 turnovers in the first half.
Panthers with the lead. Yeah, the first 14 possessions, 8 turnovers for the Bonnies. The last 10, just 1.
That was a nice pass again by Indois, finding the cutting Greg off the double team. Pittsburgh missed out on a rotation right there to cover that cutter on the double team.
Under 5 to go before halftime. Tight game. Under 10 to shoot. Newkirk on the move. Traveling violation, gives the ball back to the Bonnies.
Indois again in the post. He's gotten more comfortable as his game has wore on. He saw the double team coming and read the cutting Greg and finished.
St. Bonaventure with an opportunity to take the lead. Jay Adams, back-to-back Atlantic 10, Rookie of the Week. Mosley.
Mosley's got a nice stroke. He came off that screen, and he was looking for the rim the whole time.
He hit 91 three-pointers last year in junior college, 16th most in the country. Right, the long jumper. Way off.
St. Bonaventure came into this year, and the reason why they were picked 10th in the A-10 and not many people respected them was they lost both of their guards last year, their point guard and their 2 guard. And they replaced him with a freshman and junior college player. And these guys are off to a great start.
Right, going to the line to shoot 2. St. Bonaventure overcoming some early difficulties. A 3-point lead over Pitt.
Matt Schick, Corey Alexander coming at you just a few minutes on the Kay Jewelers halftime report. Number 1 Kentucky survives. Number 11 Wichita State survives. Pittsburgh glad to be back at home, but St. Bonaventure giving them a game.
And glad to have Cameron Cameron Wright back in the lineup, but 0 points so far in the first half.
Back at you, Peterson Events Center. See you at halftime in a few minutes. Guys.
Matt, thank you. St. Bonaventure, a 3-point lead here late in the first half. Stan, what's been the key for the Bonnies?
They settled down. They started the game out and had turnover. We already have 9, but in the last 7 or 8 minutes have not turned the ball over. So that's been the key. They've gotten more possessions. Their shooting percentages are up. They're able to attack off the dribble. Pittsburgh's defense, rotations haven't quite been there, and that's why they're up.
And that guy has been a major factor as well, the junior from Rockford, Illinois, Marcus Posley.
Well, Marcus Posley, a junior college player, started his career at Ball State. A guy who can really shoot the three, but also plays off the bounce very well. Pittsburgh's got to do a better job when he comes off screens of chasing him and being tight.
Cameron Wright at the line. This is the first.
Always for a coach, you have a player that's been out for a long period of time and you want him getting back in rhythm. It's always difficult because the first game out, and he played 1 minute in the previous game, but the first game out is always difficult.
Today is the beginning of a 5-game homestand for Pittsburgh. The Panthers have played 2 road games, 4 neutral site games. This is their first home game in a month. They're 5-3. There are 3 losses this season: Hawaii, San Diego State, and Indiana.
Well, the shocker out of that group is probably the Hawaii game. And I talked to James Dixon, kind of one of those games you wish you could have had back. And the guys just didn't play very well, didn't handle the zone. But San Diego State, terrific team. And we've seen Indiana as the season's gone on, a team that can really score the basketball.
Early on, St. Bonaventure had difficulty solving the Pitt defense. Now, much more composed. Offensive board, Endoy, the turnaround won't go. Here come the Panthers. Robinson pushing the tempo. Newkirk not afraid to shoot it from anywhere on the floor. Nice pass to Artis off the screen. 10 to shoot. A hop step by Young. Another foul.
I like what Pittsburgh just did. They had a lot of patience offensively and finally got the ball into Michael Young. Michael Young is their best offensive weapon for Pittsburgh, and he's a matchup problem, playing the 5 right now, going against Endoy. Endoy can't guard his speed. When he plays 12 feet away from the basket and he faces you up, that's a very difficult matchup for Endoy.
18 fouls on the Bonnies. Young misses the first of the 1-and-1. So back the other way comes St. Bonaventure. Deion Wright backing his way in. The hook.
Nice execution by St. Bonaventure. They got the ball swung side to side and had a diagonal pick that brought Wright to the block. Nice patience once Wright got it for the jump hook.
Wide open, Young misses the 3. Oh, he threw it off his own guy.
Good hustle by the St. Bonaventure kids, but a little bit of communication. One guy goes and gets it, the other guy stays in bounds, and you get yourself an extra possession. You see here 2 players going for it. Wright had it. If Posey recognized that, he just stays in bounds and helps his teammates.
Excellent awareness by the Pitt cheerleaders. Hit down 4. 2 minutes to go before the half. Young tries to back in. Hop step in the paint. Good, and the foul.
Nice job by Young. See why Michael Young is such a difficult matchup. He faced up Endoy on the previous possession and got fouled. On that possession, just stayed close to the basket, backed his man in, and went with the left-hand jump hook. He's got a right-hand jump hook, too, so you don't know which shoulder he wants to go over, right or left. Difficult matchup.
Has an opportunity to make this a 1-point game. He does. St. Bonaventure 25, Pitt 24. Minute 45 to go before the end of the first half. Inside again to Wright. Working on Artis. Shot blocked by Artis. And Pitt with a chance to take the lead here. Robinson misses. Jay Adams with the ball. Great genes in his family. His dad, Darryl, played football at Maryland. His mom, Yolanda, Wesley College Hall of Fame basketball player. Wright tracks down the rebound. And the Panthers will have an opportunity to take the lead here in the final minute of the first half.
It's been a nice job. Last 2 minutes just closing this half out, getting some stops on the defensive end, and executing on the offensive end, getting the ball into Young. He's been a key down the stretch right here in the first half.
Young sets the screen. Under 10 to shoot. Nice pass. The layup won't go.
What a terrific pass by Robinson. Artis just didn't cash in, took his eyes off the backboard, but what a nice pass.
Saw an excellent opportunity there with the cutter coming in along the baseline.
You got to know when Robinson has the ball, he's a fantastic passer. Be ready, be ready. He could have had one more step closer to the rim on that play. It would have been an easier layup. The defense was allowed to close out and make that a little more of a contested, a difficult play at the end.
Sunday on ESPNU, Travis Trice and Denzel Valentine lead the Michigan State Spartans against the up-tempo run-and-gun offense of the Oakland University Golden Grizzlies. Oakland battles Michigan State, part of Holiday Hoops presented by Kay Jewelers, tomorrow at 8 p.m. on ESPNU, the home court of college hoops. So the shot clock is off. St. Bonaventure can hold for a final shot here and go into the halftime locker room with the lead.
Yeah, that's one of those lose it or use it timeouts. Mark Schmidt knowing that he does not want Pittsburgh to have another offensive opportunity, and he wants to go into halftime with a lead, whether it's by 1, 2, or 3. He wants the lead going into halftime.
The last time St. Bonaventure beat an ACC opponent when that team was a member of the ACC, 1971, an NIT consolation game victory over Duke. It's been a long time for the Bonds. 10 seconds to go.
Poses the guy. Smart play by Pittsburgh. They have a foul to give. And they waited till they got under 10 seconds. Disrupt the timing and the rhythm of St. Bonaventure's offense. Nice decision by Jamie Dixon and staff.
7 seconds to go before the end of the first half. Off for Curl, it's Posey. Time running out. And that's the end of the first half. St. Bonaventure goes into the locker room with the lead.
Yeah, you know, St. Bonaventure didn't get a shot, but they didn't give Pittsburgh an opportunity to get a shot either. So they go in at halftime up by 1. Hey, if you told Mark Schmidt we're up by 1 going to halftime, would you take it? Absolutely.
Stay tuned for Matt Schick and Corey Alexander for our Kay Jewelers halftime report.
Thank you, guys. Welcome in. This is the Kay Jewelers halftime report. Matt Schick along with Corey Alexander. Seemed like both of these teams were stuck in the 20s here for the last handful of minutes. Offense hard to come by as the first half wound down. What stuck out to you?
Well, what stuck out to me was simply the fact that no one could pretty much throw it in the basket. But when you think about it, Pitt has been known to be a team that will stop you from scoring. However, they don't have that bruiser on the interior that they've had in the past that allows them to be able to beat you up on the offensive boards. They're going to have to find different ways to score right now. And St. Bonaventure doing a great job coming in with the Oakland Zoo right there and battling against the crowd and everything.
Pittsburgh, their first home game in nearly a month. Jamie Dixon and company thrilled to be back home, not so thrilled with this halftime deficit, although a small one, 25-24 at half. Kentucky, #1 team in all the land, also at home, taking on another blue blood in North Carolina and taking on the Tar Heels without Alex Poitra's season-ending knee injury. Team was supporting him, wearing number 21 T-shirts. You can see that on the bench. There's Trey Lyles for the lay in Kentucky, up 19 in the second half. And Devin Booker had a game, 15 points.
And Devin Booker, and just as well as everyone else, going to have to step up their production. Devin Booker with a great first half, and he's the one guy, along with Aaron Harrison, that you have to respect as a shooter, but you always have to respect the Wildcats getting up and down the floor.
Dakari Johnson for the dunk. 24 points off 18 Tar Heel turnovers. Karl Anthony Towns taller than you.
All you got to say, give me that. He basically starts the break. And, of course, with Kentucky, you start with Willie Cauley-Stein. He's normally the one starting the break with the block shots. This time he's finishing.
Willie Cauley-Stein with 15 points. Booker with 15. The Harrison twins combining for 25 points. Kentucky 84-70 winners. North Carolina scores the most points Kentucky has allowed this season. But this really wasn't close. Whenever the Tar Heels made it somewhat respectable, Kentucky disrespected, just throwing lobs. What do you do to beat Kentucky?
Well, you can call in
recruit
a few NBA players and say, hey, come down, we got Kentucky tonight, we need you to play. But on the other side of it, Coach Calipari said, North Carolina was one of the teams that came in and tried to run with us. Kentucky was looking for that. Everyone else has been slowing them down, so they got an opportunity to see what their offense was capable of. But I know Coach Cal's not happy about the fact that Carolina got 70 because Carolina really didn't play that well offensively, but still able to put up 70 points on the Wildcats. I'm sure that's something that he will make sure to let his team know about in practice.
Kentucky's got UCLA next week, Louisville in a couple of weeks. We'll see if they can keep this undefeated run going. I know a lot of Kentucky fans assuming an undefeated season. Certainly easier said than done. Kansas knows what it's like to take on Kentucky and get blown out by Kentucky. They got a top 15 matchup coming up against Utah.
Welcome back to the K Jewelers Halftime Report.
We are at half. St. Bonaventure with a 1-point lead on Pitt, 25-24. About 9 minutes to go until the start of the second half. St. Bonaventure getting it done from 3. 4 of 9 from three-point range. Number 11 team in all the land, Wichita State. Coach Marshall taking on Detroit. Juwan Howard Jr.
Little Nuke. He's Little Nuke now, and he was big in the first half for Detroit.
He had 27 in this game, and Detroit had a 10-point lead, but here come the Shockers. Takil Cotton had 11, and then Ron Baker, one of the fine three-point shooters in the country.
The veteran backcourt for Wichita State will this team to a win. They would not give up, and they did not panic at the end. And, of course, Ron Baker knocking down a huge three to give them a win.
Baker had 19 points. Both teams combined 18 of 52 from three, but getting enough to get it done. Ohio State taking on Morehead State, and Sam Thompson leading the way with 15. Buckeyes coming off back-to-back wins since the loss to Louisville.
And they grew up a little bit at the end of the Louisville game, and you see the maturation starting to take over. D'Angelo Russell, of course, one of the best freshmen in the country, and you see what they're able to do off the inbounds play. That could be an SC top 10 nominee for sure.
There should have been exclamation points in the shot sheet. There were not. Ohio State 78-61 up now on Ohio Valley.
They got to warn us of stuff like that's coming.
I know.
We can't just be caught off guard with that.
Things in bold here. Coming up about 20 minutes from now over on ESPN, it is Kansas taking on Utah in a top 15 matchup. And the last time most of us saw Kansas was that beatdown to Kentucky. What's changed for them since then?
Well, their guys have grown up a little bit more. I mean, you think about it, Kansas plays a lot of freshmen. Cliff Alexander now giving them much more production than he was early in the system. And Cliff, of course, is little CA. Had opportunity to coach him. That's how I introduced myself to him. I'm big CA. He's little CA. But when you think about Cliff Alexander and what he does coming off the bench for Kansas, giving them production, the rebounding, the effort on the inside, it makes them so much better. And then Wayne Selden Jr. is playing at a high level. And when you have those guys getting it done, Kansas can be a really good team.
Utah, tough on the defensive end, have not allowed one of their last 7 opponents to shoot better than 38%. Both teams riding 6-game win streak. Should be a good one. 3:15 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN. We've got a good one. Brewing at Pitt, St. Bonaventure up 1. James Robinson, how are you? Okay, Jewelers halftime report.
This halftime report is presented by K Jewelers. Every kiss begins with K.
And these highlights brought to you by our editing crew. Maryland taking on South Carolina Upstate. USC Upstate, fresh off a win over Georgia Tech last weekend. Here they come on a 21-6 run, building a 4-point halftime lead. They've never beaten an AP top 25 team. Yeah, Jake Layman, 17 points, double figures in all 11 games this year.
And Maryland really starting to put it together. You talked about them playing without Des Wells, their leading scorer, but they've got a number of guys stepping it up. Jake Layman with a huge afternoon as well.
It's the three. Mello Trimble, the star freshman, double-double, 14 points, 12 rebounds. They improved to 10 and 1. Evan Smotrich was back today as well from an ankle injury, performing admirably. Arkansas performing admirably against Dayton. Just a few weeks away from Dayton and St. Bonaventure, and Dayton not playing very well. 40-23. Bobby Portis taking it to him right now with the Razorbacks at Bud Walton Arena. 1 point lead for the Bonnies so far. How does Pitt pull away here at home? What do they have to do?
Pitt has to beat them up on the offensive boards, use their size, and get inside the paint and do their damage in there in comparison to trying to beat them on the perimeter.
It's a 25-24 lead for the Bonnies right now. Moments away from the second half. And the Bonnies doing what they can. There's Jay Adams, the steal, the three. Second half now.
You're watching ESPN's Holiday Hoops, presented by Kay Jewelers.
Welcome back to Holiday Hoops, presented by Kay Jewelers. 1 point St. Bonaventure lead as we get set to begin the second half. As expected, tight defensive battle early.
Yeah, two teams that play a very similar style, grind it out on the defensive end, give you nothing easy on the offensive end. But right here for Pittsburgh, Michael Young is the key. He's a matchup problem for St. Bonaventure. On the other end of the floor, Marcus Cosley is the guy who's seeing a big basket. The three-point shot for St. Bonaventure in the first half has been the difference in the game. 4 for 9 from 3 for 44%, and that's why they have the lead.
In this one, turnovers, the real story early for St. Bonaventure, able to overcome and take the lead.
Well, first time at an ACC school, on the road, big environment. So they just had to settle down and start a freshman point guard. So once they settle down, you don't want to see 9 turnovers in the first half, but once they settle down, they didn't have maybe one in the last 7 or 8 minutes of the first half.
Offensive rebounds, another big issue.
Well, Pitt has made a living this season with offensive rebounds. A guy like Michael Young gets 4 a game alone, and today they only have 4. That's not enough. Jamie Dixon wants his team. They're going to miss shots. They've got to crash the offensive glass.
Have to believe that was the halftime message from Dixon to his players. Pittsburgh begins the second half with the ball. Right, hell ball. The possession arrow pointing the Bonnies' way.
Just try to force that pass in there. Not necessary. You come out of halftime, you want a nice, clean offensive possession. Didn't get that for Pitt to start the half.
Jay Adams playing catch with Mosley. Cumberbatch off to the left. Dion Wright. Good defense by the Panthers. Robinson accelerates.
That's a nice job by Robinson, just forcing the issue and making St. Bonaventure foul them. You know, if you're struggling to score in half-court offense, the best thing you can do is get in transition. Don't allow the defense to get set, and find a way to either drive and kick or to get yourself to the free throw line.
Robinson with a chance to tie the game, and he misses the free throw. Came into this game 90% from the line.
Yeah, that's a rarity right there. I think sometimes we just give those guys that jinx, and he'll get this one right here.
Ties it up at 25, Pittsburgh and St. Bonaventure. The Panthers have won 25 straight non-conference home games, but in a tight one here against St. Bonaventure early in the second half. Cumberbatch takes it, can't get it to go.
You know, a couple of nice drives by St. Bonaventure players, Wright and Cumberbatch in the last 2 possessions. They've got to go in there strong. I mean, they're playing an ACC school that Pittsburgh thrives on physicality. You have to finish through contact and through guys that are 6'8", 6'9". They're going to challenge your shots.
A foul has been called.
I mean, Mark Smith, you're getting 2 good shots 2 feet from the rim. You've got to cash in on those plays if you're St. Bonaventure. If you want to sneak out of here with a win, you got to get that done.
Yeah, this is the first test for St. Bonaventure this season. The Bonnies coming in on a 5-game winning streak. Right, misses. Again, here come the Panthers.
4 shots 2 feet and in. They're going to get an offensive basket interference by St. Bonaventure. The ball had no chance of going in, but I think Cumberbatch grabbed the rim, and by grabbing the rim, shaking it just a little bit, it's an offensive goaltending. Right there, you see Cumberbatch just touching the rim. The ball is not going in. Not a good play by Cumberbatch.
And that play allows Pittsburgh to take the lead. Endoy inside. Spins by Young, the hook goes.
Nice move by the big fella. A little bit of patience. Faked it like he was coming back middle, went over that jump hook, left shoulder, right hand. Good patience by Endoy.
Young misses the turnaround, and the Bonnies on the move. Mosley accelerates. Good defense by the Panthers. Pittsburgh with a chance to go back on top. Robinson keeps Pitt in the lead.
Both teams have made a concerted effort to push the tempo. The tempo's a lot faster this first 3.5 minutes, this first 2.5 minutes of the second half.
Both teams known for defense. St. Bonaventure holding teams to fewer than 64 points per game. Endoy from outside doesn't go. Whistle on the play. The Panthers finding a way to take defense.
Pittsburgh's been much more aggressive in the second half on the defensive end, challenging shots, and Robinson continues to push a faster tempo for the Pitt offense.
3 minutes gone by here in this second half. Pittsburgh with a 2-point lead over St. Bonaventure. Right off the screen. Nice diagonal pass to Robinson. offensive foul.
Nice job by the freshman, Jay Adams, just holding his ground. James Robinson tried to force it in there. He's a much bigger, stronger guard. He's trying to take advantage of his physicality. But Adams just held his ground.
Jay Adams will now run point. One of two Jalen Adams on the St. Bonaventure team.
Yeah, we were talking about that. They have Jalen right here, we see on the court with the Y, and the other Jalen with no Y, just J-A-L-E-N. And he hasn't been in the game yet, but because this Jay Adams was a freshman, he lost half his name, and he's just Jay instead of Jalen.
And he's okay with it.
He's okay with it.
The runner by Endoy tying the game up at 29. Jones. Gives Pitt the lead.
Breakdown right there, St. Bonaventure. Jay Adams wanted to switch with Posley. Posley didn't see it and allowed Adams to get that clean look right there. Chris Jones for Pittsburgh.
Adams forces one, doesn't go. Fight for the rebound. Endoy grabs it. Held ball. Arrow pointing Pittsburgh's way. So the Panthers will get the ball, and they've retaken the lead here in the second half, 31-29. Welcome back to the ACC on ESPN. Pittsburgh leading St. Bonaventure 31-29 with 15:46 remaining in the second. The Panthers have dominated against non-conference opponents here at home. December 23rd, 2011, Pitt ranked 13th by ESPN fell to Danny Hurley's Wagner University squad in an upset. The final score 59-54. It was Pitt's last non-conference loss. Unreal.
It doesn't happen very often, but you can see it's possible. And right now, St. Bonaventure kind of hanging in there. If they can clean up and get a few of these layups to go down, they might be able to do it.
One of the Panthers' 3 non-conference losses here in this building since the Peterson Event Center was opened in 2002.
What a phenomenal stat. What a phenomenal stat to have that kind of a winning percentage at home.
1-12-3.
That's why they're a perennial power every year. They dominate at home. It's a recipe for success to win your games at home.
Under Jamie Dixon, this is year 12 with him as the head coach. 5 to shoot. Newkirk the drive and the bucket.
Nice job by Newkirk splitting the ball screen trap and getting right to the rim for the finish.
So since Dixon has taken over the Pitt program, the Panthers have gone to 9 NCAA tournaments, in large part because they dominate at home.
He's had a phenomenal career here, and obviously he's still young in his coaching and has a long way to go, but you know, that recipe right there, win your home games, non-conference or games out of conference or in conference, that's a key to winning and having a lot of success.
Newkirk able to find his way inside, and here defense potentially leading to more offense. Young grabs the loose ball.
You know, I think we're starting to see the Pittsburgh team come into its own on the defensive end. Jamie Dixon and staff have been preaching the defense, getting it back to what we're normally used to seeing. And I think in this game, they have done a nice job hedging the ball screens, taking away penetration, and when penetration happens, recovering to block the shots.
Under 10 to shoot for Pitt. Newkirk. The hop step. Oh, nice move off glass.
Terrific move. He's a scorer. Newkirk is not your typical point guard who's pass first. He's coming in looking to get buckets right there off the dribble. Nice move. Nice shot off the glass.
Fight for the rebound as it goes out of bounds. Newkirk went to the same high school as John Wall. Explosive like Wall.
2 times in a row. The other time was off the ball screen a couple minutes ago, but that time just one-on-one, mano-a-mano, and he just took him and scored it off the glass.
It's your kind of basketball. Oh, nice play by Artis. The loose ball tracked down, and it's loose again. Robinson finally corrals it in the corner. Timeout, Pitt. The Panthers beginning to make their move. A 35-29 lead over St. Bonaventure. 13:48 to go. Pittsburgh on a 6-0 run. The Panthers leading St. Bonaventure 35-29 here in the second. ESPN News soccer coverage of the 2014 NCAA Men's College Cup concludes Sunday at noon. 2 teams, number 16 Virginia and number 2 UCLA, take the field and vie to become national champion. Presented by Northwestern Mutual. Game also live on Watch ESPN. Here in this one, the Panthers beginning to assert themselves after trailing at halftime.
Well, we're seeing the Pittsburgh defense crack it up just a notch, and it's been hard for St. Bonaventure to get a good look at the rim. The few times they've attacked the basket, they've been met and challenged and haven't been able to finish.
Newkirk going one-on-one with a big guy. Reverses it, 15 to shoot. Young from the outside. Too strong. Fight for the rebound. Deion Wright corrals it for St. Bonaventure. Wide open, Cumberbatch. Misses.
St. Bonaventure's got to find some sort of offensive rhythm to get going.
That's up fake by Chris Jones to get the layup.
That's what we're used to seeing, the Pittsburgh getting those second chance points. They get 46% of their missed shots. Almost half of their missed shots they get back to get another opportunity to score.
Endoy gets fouled. Young on the foul.
You know, coming into this game, I really believe a key matchup was how effective Endoy would be. You know, he's 7 foot. The tallest player for Pittsburgh on the floor right now is 6'8", maybe 6'9", so he has a serious height advantage inside. But he hasn't been able to get close to the basket. He hasn't been able to get putbacks or anything easy for his St. Bonaventure team. So a guy right now, he's got 6 points, but he should be a guy that gets 14 to 15 points a night for Mark Schmidt's St. Bonaventure team.
Endori makes the second. Young has to sit for Pitt with 3 fouls.
Yeah, these next few minutes with Young on the bench, we got to find out who Pitt will run their offense through.
Got to figure Robinson. Jones from the outside. Knocks it down.
There it is. Chris Jones answered the bell. Nice execution by Pittsburgh. They're known for their offensive execution. And you can see the ball in the screening, the ball moving in the screening to perfection for Pittsburgh.
Panthers with their biggest lead of the game. They've got a 9-point advantage. Inside right. Did he take an extra step? No. Hell ball.
On the spin for Wright. Pittsburgh got their hands on that ball. See right here, Wright gets possession of the ball. He spins, and the ball was held just slightly. Referees jumped in there and called the hell ball.
12 minutes to go. Pittsburgh up by 9.
Real physical in there.
The Panthers finding themselves on the offensive end.
Great execution here by Pittsburgh on the ball swing and the screen down. Chris Jones wide open, and it's money.
Down by 1 at halftime. Pittsburgh has rallied to take its biggest lead of the game, up by 9 against St. Bonaventure with 11:50 to go here in the second half. Zach Zaidman and Stan Heath with you from the Peterson Event Center in Pittsburgh.
Well, what really helped the second half, Pittsburgh has increased the tempo. They started off by pushing the ball, getting themselves to easy baskets, and their defense is really cranked up to another level, and they've got offense from their defense that's allowed them to get this 9-point lead.
Yeah, the Panthers shooting 64% here in this half and holding St. Bonaventure to just 2 of 14 from the field. 5 to shoot. And Jones loses the ball. The Bonnies. Cumberbatch can't get it to go. Back the other way come the Panthers. Nice pass. Good on the foul.
Nice 2-on-1 fast break. Newkirk waited till the last minute and dished it off right here. But St. Bonaventure, the problem has been they have not been able to finish shots 2 feet around the basket in the second half. And because of that, it's led to offensive opportunities for Pitt in transition and finish for the and one.
A demoralizing sequence for St. Bonaventure when you have the easy look there, and it leads to Pitt getting the ball back the other way to the bucket.
Yeah, that becomes very frustrating. They probably had 5 or 6 shots 2 feet and into the basket. And they're 0 for 5 or 6 right now. And so as a St. Bonaventure player, you're all of a sudden, your body language, you're putting your head down, you're getting a little bit of frustrated. They need somebody to step up and lead the charge. And I think Marcus Posley is the key right now.
Posley's got the ball, takes the three, hits the three.
Nice job, Marcus Posley. Way to step up, young fellow. He just eyed him. Saw those hands down, raised up, and nailed the three-point shot.
Newkirk. Lightning fast with the ball in his hands. And Pittsburgh with 15 to shoot, taking its time, trying to find a good shot underneath Uchevu. Foul's called. Moments ago, the tide was stemmed by Posley from the outside.
It's a big shot right here. Just a little bit of separation from Marcus Posley. He noticed the defender's hands down and nailed the three-point shot.
Robinson fires it into the backcourt. You can do that in college basketball. Can't do it in the pros. Robinson against the big guy. Inside to Luther. Oh, nice extra pass. Chevo couldn't get it to go.
Nice pass by Luther. Pittsburgh always good with interior passing, but not able to get the finish.
Now St. Bonaventure trying to find an easy look from the outside. Going to need to hit some threes here, but inside, it's the big man, Endor. He's going to the line. Tomorrow at 4 p.m., the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs battle big man Rakeem Christmas in Syracuse. Then at 6, UNC Wilmington squares off against number 4 Louisville and their monstrous front court. Our Holiday Hoops doubleheader begins Sunday at 4 on ESPNU, the home court of college hoops. Endoy misses the first.
Going forward for St. Bonaventure and even throughout this game, Endoy is a guy who's going to get fouled a lot. You know, he plays around the basket. He's a tough matchup. Not doing a whole lot in this particular game, but he's only shooting about 65% from the free throw line. Every single day, he needs to work on those free throws. He's going to be there, get himself to about 75% and make people pay.
He's continuing to get better and better, though, as an overall player, averaging a double-double this season, 11 points, 11 rebounds. 9.5 minutes to go here in the second half.
St. Bonaventure snuck into a zone right now. It's a 1-1-3 that's going to change into a 2-3. Good trap in that corner. Nice trap.
Dion Wright to the basket. Oh, wow. What a dunk by Wright.
And Jamie Dixon's going to get a timeout after that play. He did not like the way his team executed against that zone. And it ended up being a big-time slam dunk by Wright in St. Bonaventure. The trap in there with a 7-foot Ndoye and Wright, 6'8", allowed the defense to convert into offense, and Wright on the finish for St. Bonaventure.
The big one-handed jam by Wright. Pittsburgh able to take the lead after trailing at the half stand because of its ability to turn defense into offense. Yeah. That's an example of the Bonnies doing.
St. Bonaventure just took a page right out of what Pittsburgh had been doing to them in the second half. and got very aggressive. Sometimes you go into a zone and teams get passive. That was an aggressive zone defense right there for St. Bonaventure with the trap in the corner.
And St. Bonaventure on a 6-0 run. Some full court pressure by the Bonnies, but Pittsburgh beats it.
And now they've switched again. They're in a 1-3-1 zone. And then Doy in the middle and the Posey in the back part of that zone.
Pittsburgh having some difficulty adjusting here. 15 to shoot, Pitt ball. You figure that Jamie Dixon called the timeout moments ago to figure out what they were doing before.
Yeah,
and they switched it up.
Yeah, they switched it up, went into a different zone defense. Now they're back into the 1-1-3-2-3 defense.
5 to shoot. Wild shot by Armstrong.
Nice drive on the baseline. He saw Ndoye on the closeout, and Ndoye did not shut off the baseline. He opened up the layup.
Back the other way, Posley puts it in.
Nice counter. The stops, the defensive stops for St. Bonaventure will be the key to get back into this game.
Wright finds Young on the baseline.
There will be holes in this defense, and Pittsburgh's a good enough passing team to be able to find them, but not right there on that turnover.
And Wright fouls Posley after the takeaway. Pittsburgh showing some life, St. Bonaventure showing some life here after some early issues in the second half.
Well, in the first half, we only saw man-to-man defense out of St. Bonaventure and Mark Schmidt. He's coming in the second half. His team got down a little bit. He said, hey, we're going to change the pace. We're going to mix some things up. We're going to try to keep Pittsburgh off balance by switching our defenses from man to zone and playing multiple zones as well.
The Bonnies work the ball around the perimeter. Dion Wright, trap it. Tight one here at the Peterson Event Center. Pittsburgh up by 5. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Kay Jewelers. Every kiss begins with Kay. Pittsburgh with the lead over St. Bonaventure, 7:54 to go. A tough out-of-conference battle highlights today's journey to the tourney matchup as the Michigan Wolverines face a tough road test against Rondé Hollis Jefferson and the third-ranked Arizona Wildcats. The journey to the tourney as part of Holiday Hoops today at 5:15 on ESPN, the home court of college hoops.
That should be a great game right there. Michigan, I know, has had a couple bumps in the road the last couple games, but still a terrific basketball team. John Beilein is certainly a terrific coach. He'll have his team ready to go.
Yeah, the Wolverines have some work to do. St. Bonaventure has gotten back into this game thanks to switching up the half-court defense on different possessions.
Yeah, really, the defense has taken Pittsburgh out of their rhythm. They were in a great rhythm in the second half, and now they have to adjust It'll be interesting to see this chess match going on between Mark Schmidt and Jamie Dixon.
Under 10 to shoot for the Panthers. Newkirk throws up a wild shot, and right goes back the other way for St. Bonaventure. The biggest lead of the game at around the 11-minute mark here in the second half. Pittsburgh led by 11. Since then, the Bonnies have switched up defenses and thrown the Panthers out of rhythm.
No, Pittsburgh has spent a lot of time working on zone offense. They do it every single day, and they're normally one of the best zone offensive teams, facing Syracuse and having success against them so many years. But in this particular season, in the Hawaii game and the Indiana game, both those teams played primarily zone defense against Pittsburgh, and they struggled offensively, and that was the reason why they have 2 of those losses.
17 fouls on Pittsburgh. The first of a 1-and-1 goes down for Adams. Averaging 14.5 points per game over his last 4, including 47% shooting from three-point range, but not having that kind of success here in this one against the Panthers defense.
Well, he's going against one of the best defensive guards in the ACC, and James Robinson. He's a terrific defender. Not a guy that gets a whole lot of steals, but keeps the ball in front and always makes the offensive player at the point guard spot make difficult plays.
The Bonnies have used a 10-2 run to get within striking distance. Newkirk misses the 3. Now an opportunity to potentially tie the game up for the Bonnies.
Well, nice job by Mark Schmidt going into the zone defense, changing things up, mixing it up against Pittsburgh's offense, giving his team life.
Mosley in the paint. Foul's been called before the shot. Another 1-and-1.
James Robinson a little woozy right now. He took a shot on a screen down. I think when Mosley came off, he swung his arms and hit Robinson in the face. Incidental contact.
Michael Roberts, the official, checking on him. Send him to the Pitt bench to be checked out.
Well, anytime a player gets hit in the head and is a little woozy, you have to be on the cautious side with so many kids having these concussions. So, good job by Mike Roberts just stepping in. And
let's take a look at how this happened here.
So just
got tangled up there with Denzel Gray.
Just incidental contact off that screen, and he's trying to close into his man, and just a little head-to-head contact right there.
So Robinson go to the end of the bench there while they'll work on him. At the line, Marcus Mosley for St. Bonaventure, the 6'1" junior from Rockford. Was a high school teammate of Wichita State's Fred Van Vliet, one of the best guards in the country.
That had to be a nice backcourt right there. Fred Van Vliet, one of the best point guards in the country.
Just a 2-point game here. Pittsburgh had an 11-point advantage.
And a critical stretch right now. Pittsburgh, with James Robinson's on the bench. That's your leader, your point guard, your guy that defends so well at that point guard position. That's a key guy that's not in the game right now.
Robinson came into this game averaging nearly 6 assists a game. Pitt with the ball. Up by just 1. 6 minutes to go here at the Peterson Event Center, where the Panthers have won 25 straight against non-conference opponents.
That zone defense has become a nuisance for Pittsburgh right now. Somebody in that Pittsburgh team will have to get in the middle of that zone.
Adams misses the tray. The putback goes. What a move by Denzel Gregg flying in.
Denzel Gregg.
And that gives St. Bonaventure a 1-point lead here over Pittsburgh with 5:33 remaining.
That's only his second game back, Denzel Gregg, and he came flying in from the perimeter on this three-point shot right here by Adams. Greg just flies in from the three-point line and tips that ball in. Nice hustle play. Nobody boxed him out for Pittsburgh. He gets a clean run to the rim and finishes that offensive putback.
Stan St. Bonaventure on an 8-0 run over the last 3 minutes of this game. A 14-2 run if you go back for the last 5 minutes and 24 seconds. And on the flip side, Pittsburgh struggling to hit baskets. 1 of its last 5 from the floor.
Yeah, Jamie Dixon right there drawing something up for his zone offense. He's going to work to get something easy for his team. And normally they are so good at getting the ball at the free throw line, the middle of the zone, and the interior passing that we haven't seen from the Pitt big man normally shows up well in their zone attack.
Another new look defensively by St. Bonaventure.
Yeah, second time they've come back to this 1-3-1 zone. Every time Pitt takes the timeout to go against the 2-3, Mark Schmidt comes back with the 2-3 zone, or the 1-3-1 zone.
Artis misses. Young was fouled on the rebound attempt. Red gets called for his third. The Panthers seemingly will have to find a way to get this done without Robinson.
Well, two guys your eyes got to be on is Michael Young and Newkirk. Newkirk can shoot the three.
A steal by the Bonnies. Here comes Dion right inside. Oh, the spin layup is good.
What a move by Wright. Under control. The defender thought he was going to get the charge. He spun away from the defense for the finish.
Young hustles his way inside. Offensive foul. Call on
Jamie
Pitt.
Dixon does not like that call at all. He felt the defense was moving. See right here. That's a great call. That's a great call right there. Young just lowered the shoulder right into Ndoye. That's an easy call.
So Young with 4 fouls. He'll have to sit. And Robinson is back in the game for the Panthers. Had to sit out momentarily after getting tangled up with Greg. Appeared to be some sort of head injury at the time. St. Bonaventure a 3-point lead over Pittsburgh under 5 minutes to go in the game. The Bonnies have not beaten an ACC team that was a member of the ACC at the time since 1971. Adams penetrates. Right inside. The extra pass. The big man Ndoye misses.
Too bad. The big fella Ndoye, a little inexperienced. He's closer to the rim on that bounce pass. He's just going up and dunking the ball.
Long three, no good by Jones. Offensive board Chevy.
That's what we're used to seeing with Pittsburgh, the second chance opportunities that lead to a basket.
Big shot by Newkirk. Ties the game up at 47.
That was all started by the offensive right rebound by Chu. He did a great job. Didn't have the shot himself, threw it right back out on the second pass. Wide open shot for Newkirk.
Seesaw game here in Pittsburgh. Adams on the move. The give for Ndoye, couldn't handle. Pittsburgh ball. The sophomore, Josh Newkirk, with a big three from the corner. 47 all. Waning moments in Pittsburgh.
Coming up, top of the hour here on ESPNU, a berth to the national semifinals on the line. Wisconsin and Penn State. Lauren Carlini, Big Ten player and center of the year, taking on the Nittany Lions less than 20 minutes away on the U. Guys.
47 all here at the Peterson Events Center. Pittsburgh and St. Bonaventure with 3 minutes and 34 seconds to go. Moments ago, the sophomore Josh Newkirk knocking down a three-pointer to tie the game up at 47 and stand during the break. The officials just wanted to make sure the foot was behind the line.
Yeah, at one point in this game, it's so important, and they just wanted to double-check to make sure, and it was clear. Yeah, there was space between the line and his toe. So three-point shot by Josh Newkirk.
St. Bonaventure had a 1-point lead at the half. Pittsburgh rallied early on out of the halftime break to take an 11-point advantage. It's been seesaw ever since. The score has been tied 9 times. The lead has changed 8 times. Pittsburgh ball.
See what Pittsburgh does against this zone defense. This has been the reason St. Bonaventure has been able to come back and tie the game.
Wide open, Robinson for 3. He missed. Robinson tracks down the rebound. Fresh 35 for the Panthers.
Well, terrific offensive possession right there. And more importantly, they got the offensive rebound, which Pittsburgh is so good at, to give them another chance. But wide open shot for Robinson, a shot he needs to be able to knock down.
Nice inside pass. Young, the two-handed stuff, and Pittsburgh's got the lead.
That is the Pittsburgh offense. Zone attack we're used to seeing. The interior passing, big to big, with the bounce pass. Terrific finish by Young.
Another nice pass. Wild shot won't go for Cosley, and a foul's been called.
Whenever you play against a zone, you want to get the ball into the middle of the defense. You can see the flash by Artis, and the look-away pass with the left hand, all set up by Artis to give Young the finish.
It's not just the ability to get the ball to the free throw line, but to give it to someone who knows what to do with the ball.
The guy in the middle has to be a playmaker. He has to be able to not only pass it, he's got to be able to shoot it, drive it, make good decisions whenever he gets the ball in the middle of that defense. And he doesn't have a lot of time because there's 2 or 3 guys surrounding him.
Endoy misses a chance to tie the game, and now Pittsburgh will have an opportunity.
Well, Endoy has had a tough last 2.5 minutes. He's had opportunities around the rim to finish and put his team up, but he has not been able to convert. And you can see maybe the lack of experience overall. Just the guy's only been playing 6 years. That kind of shows up in these tight situations.
Yeah, Endoy did not start playing basketball until he was 17 years old. Artis finds Newkirk. Back to Artis. Long jumper. Got it! And now the officiating crew will check the monitor to make sure where the feet were. Pittsburgh 51, St. Bonaventure 48. As of right now, with 2 minutes and 7 seconds to go.
Yeah, not exactly sure what happened here. Nice driving kick for the 3 for Artis, and I'm not sure why there was a stoppage in play. The referee might have thought Jamie Dixon called a timeout, but he didn't. So they're calling both teams back into play to continue on.
Did you ever have that happen to you?
Oh, that happens quite a bit. You know, the referee's trying to be on top of the game, and he wasn't quite sure if the coach called timeout or not. So, you know, they quickly got the game back in play.
Pittsburgh 51, St. Bonaventure 48. 2 minutes to go. At stake for Pittsburgh, the non-conference home game winning streak. 25 straight wins here against non-conference opponents.
Good timeout right there by Mark Schmidt. His team was unorganized and not in a good flow offensively. You can saw guys going in different directions. So called a quick timeout, get organized. I expect him in this timeout to set something up for Marcus Posley. He is the best offensive player on the perimeter for St. Bonaventure. A guy who can make the 3, but also create off the dribble and make plays going to the basket.
It's been a long time since St. Bonaventure beat an ACC opponent when that team was a member of the ACC. 1971, an NIT consolation game victory over Duke. Coming in, Mark Schmidt and the Bonnies wanted to test themselves.
Well, that's nothing to be insulted about. The ACC is a premier basketball conference, and not many teams that aren't in the major conference are going to go to an ACC school, because the ACC is not going to St. Bonaventure to play them. They have to go on the road and try to get a win.
No question about it. St. Bonaventure was picked to finish 10th this season in the 14-team Atlantic 10 Conference. Inside, power move, won't go by Cumberbatch. Fight for the rebound. Held ball. Arrow pointing the Panthers' way.
Nice job by James Robinson getting in the mix. See right there on the missed shot. Cumberbatch never really got control of it, but once he did, Robinson right there put his hands on as well for the jump ball.
Newkirk will go the full end of the floor for the Panthers. Under a minute and a half to go here at the Peterson Event Center. Since this place opened up in 2002, the Panthers have lost just 3 home games to non-conference opponents. 15 to shoot. Newkirk with under 10 to shoot. Penetrates. Whistle.
Yeah, good foul right there. Newkirk attacking the rim. See right here, he knows he has the defender beat. Mosley stuck that arm out. Newkirk felt that and gave that contact to make sure he got fouled.
Inside, Young doesn't go. He's going to the line for 2.
Boy, just instead of having his hands straight up, had his hands a little bit going forward, and the contact with Young created that foul.
Michael Young, a 71% free throw shooter, extends the Pittsburgh lead 52 to 48. A minute 3 to go. Young, a double-double. 10 points, 17 rebounds. Lost the 10 pounds in the offseason. It's made him a better player. Misses the free throw.
Critical possession right here for St. Bonaventure. They have to work to get a good shot.
Under a minute to go. Timeout called by the head coach of the Bonnies, Mark Schmidt. He's 0-6 versus ACC teams as Bonnies head coach. Pittsburgh doesn't lose to non-conference opponents here at home. A 25-game winning streak on the line at home here at the Peterson Event Center against non-conference opponents. Haven't lost since 2011.
No, they're so tough here at home, Pittsburgh. And if you're going to win here, there are certain things you have to do. You can't turn the ball over, and you have to finish plays. If you have plays around the basket, layups, 2-foot shots, you have to convert those kind of plays if you want to come out of here with a win. And that's where Mark Schmidt, hopefully they can figure some things out. But if not, he'll look at that film and he'll say, guys, these layups, we've got to finish and put the ball in the basket.
Boy, you look at St. Bonaventure, and they have just struggled to make those easy shots, as you said, Stan, shooting 29% from the field since halftime. The Panthers, 112-3 here at the Peterson Event Center against non-conference opponents. Under Jamie Dixon, overall, Pittsburgh 137-15 against non-conference opponents. And that's why Dixon is on pace to get 300 wins faster than coaching legends like Bob Knight, Dean Smith, and John Thompson, just to name a few.
Just an incredible record and a great start to a career. 12 years here, still young in his coaching career. And he's built a very powerful Pittsburgh program.
Adams inside to Endoy. Turnover. And there's another example of an easy opportunity squandered by St. Bonaventure.
And Doy just trying to play a little bit too quick. Shuffle those feet. Another opportunity, 2 feet and in, that St. Bonaventure comes up empty on.
Full court pressure by the Bonnies. Robinson under the basket, calls time. Smart move.
Robinson really wanted St. Bonaventure to foul him, and when St. Bonaventure didn't and they had a good trap, he wisely called that timeout.
Now Pittsburgh out of timeouts, and what we've seen from St. Bonaventure and Mark Schmidt, a variety of different looks defensively coming out of timeouts.
Well, right now, you're down by 4, and Mark Schmidt and the St. Bonaventure team, they have to apply full court pressure. Expect them to not foul right away, to trap, see if they can get a steal on the first pass. If the ball gets across half court or gets in the hands of a poor free throw shooter, they will then foul and put somebody to that free throw line.
James Robinson, expect him to touch the ball and not give it up. A 90% free throw shooter coming into this game.
Yeah, what you like about James Robinson, he's going to fight. He's going to get himself open. He's going to do everything he can to get possession of this ball and try to make St. Bonaventure foul him. You'll see him once he gets it. He'll try to initiate a little contact so he can get himself to the free throw line. But St. Bonaventure, I'm sure Mark Schmidt's telling his team, hey, if Robinson gets the ball, we will trap him, but do not put him at the free throw line unless the shot clock gets so far down we have no other choice.
Robinson and the Panthers head back onto the court here. In this game, Robinson with 9 points, 4 assists to go along with 3 rebounds. Young with the ball in the corner. Needs help. Remember, Pitt out of timeouts. St. Bonaventure ball.
Wow. Mark Schmidt got exactly what he wanted, a trap in the corner. Now, the one thing the officials can do, if they're not sure, they can go to the monitor and see if that was off Pittsburgh.
It appears as though that is what is happening right now. The officials looking at this.
Yeah, good trap. That's not where you want to catch the ball against full court pressure in the dead corner. You see here, Young gets the ball stripped. Trying to see who last touched that ball. Did it go off of Young's leg?
Did not look like it hit Young's leg from that angle.
They may reverse this, but if they're not sure, they will go with the call on the floor. You see here the strip, the inside leg, the right leg, where it got stripped, the right leg, yeah, I think it got the inner part of that right leg on the thigh. I think this call will stand. This call will stand and be St. Bonaventure's ball.
The officials doing what we just did, taking a look at that. Here's the situation right now. 33.7 seconds remaining here in this second half. Pittsburgh on top of St. Bonaventure, 52-48. The Panthers want to keep the non-conference home winning streak going. They've won 25 in a row against non-conference schools here at the Peterson Event Center. St. Bonaventure coming in on a 5-game winning streak. Its longest in 13 seasons. In fact, St. Bonaventure hasn't won 6 in a row since the 1999-2000 season, Stan, when the Bonnies earned an at-large bid to the NCAA tournament.
Well, right now, if you're Mark Schmidt and Jamie Dixon, is like, hey, guys, make a decision. Let's make a decision and play basketball. You know, it can't take a long time to go to the monitor and see whose leg it went off. If you're not sure, we have to go with the call on the floor.
St. Bonaventure in special territory in terms of the start this year. You know, the most famous basketball player in the history of the school, Bob Lanier.
Oh, I love Bob Lanier. Yeah, I grew up in Detroit, watched Detroit Piston basketball, and loved Bob Lanier. I mean, that left-hand hook shot he had, he does a great job. He represents the NBA and community service. He does a great job.
Yeah, the basketball court at St. Bonaventure is named after him. He wore size 22 sneakers, the largest shoe size in NBA history.
Well, it is St. Bonaventure ball after they went to the monitor.
33.7 seconds to go. 4-point game. On the move, Posley. Wild shot goes. It's a 2-point game with under 30 seconds to go. Pittsburgh's 25-game non-conference home winning streak in jeopardy.
What a great drive by Posley. He went off the ball screen. defender did not recover quick enough, and he just attacked the basket, avoided the defender at the rim, and Artis got around him and finished high off the glass. What a nice step-through move for Marcus Posley.
Now, the reason that St. Bonaventure wasn't an opportunity to do that, because of the full court pressure. Pittsburgh, remember, out of timeout.
Out of timeout. The last two possessions against the full court pressure, Pitt has not been able to break it. James Robinson, the previous possession, had to take a timeout, and then the turnover just happened with Michael Young. So Pittsburgh has to come up with something, get the ball in James Robinson's hand or Michael Young, but they have to be strong with the ball and be able to handle the trap. I don't expect St. Bonaventure to foul right away if they get a good trap.
Chris Jones will trigger it in. Needs help, finds Artis, and he's fouled immediately. Pittsburgh 52, St. Bonaventure 50. 1-and-1 coming up for the Panthers.
Well, Artis is an 85% free throw shooter, so I don't know how many of those have been in the last 2 minutes, because sometimes guys' stats are a little bit different. Maybe he hasn't been there, but 85% is a very good three-point or free throw shooter.
But not feeling it so far in this one. Stand 1 of 3 from the stripe in this game. Jamel Artis at the line, sophomore from Baltimore. Puts up the first, knocks it down. One more coming up for the Panthers. Huge. Nice down the stretch.
Nice to see a young fellow step up to the plate. As you mentioned, was only 1 for 3 in this game, but an 85% guy, and go up there with confidence and knock down those free throws.
Panthers can make it a 4-point game. Artis does exactly that.
If you want to win a lot of games, you want to have success, you have to be able to close games out with free throw shooting. So Jamie Dixon will find out a lot about his team down the stretch, making free throws.
An immediate foul there.
Jamie Dixon is looking at Josh Newkirk like, what are you doing?
He is beside himself.
We did not tell you to foul. What are you doing?
And this is a double bonus situation, so 2 free throws coming up here.
Josh Newkirk has to be aware of the situation. You're up by 4. You don't want to give the other team free throws. Time is on your side. Just lost it a little bit right there, but hey, you got to go to the next play. He's got to go to the next play. Jamie Dixon's got to go to the next play, and they're going to have to set up their press break.
Jay Adams knocks down both, and again, Pittsburgh, no timeouts. Getting the ball in has been an issue for the Panthers here down the stretch. It's just a 2-point game. Pittsburgh 54, St. Bonaventure 52. 25 seconds to go. Nice pass. Robinson's a 90% free throw shooter. He gets rid of it to Young, and a foul. So Young will go to the line. 1-and-1. Young entered this game a 71% free throw shooter. He is 4 of 6 at the line in this one.
That's an interesting decision right there. James Robinson had the ball and passed it, and wanted to probably use a little bit of time, but at 90%, if I'm James Robinson, I might have kept that ball in my hands and put myself to the free throw line.
Some peculiar decisions by Pitt down the stretch.
It's early in the year, and guys are figuring things out, coaches are figuring things out, but I guarantee you, they'll tell James Robinson, we want you to shoot those free throws.
Timeout, St. Bonaventure down by 3 with 14.4 seconds to go. That was the last timeout for the Bonnies.
Well, we always get in this situation, at the end of the games. You're up by 3. Do you want to foul if you're Pittsburgh and give them 2 free throws, or do you want to allow St. Bonaventure to run their offense? If the shot clock or the game clock gets below 10, if I'm Pittsburgh, I'm going to foul. Not in the act of shooting while the player has the ball on the ground. Give them 2 free throws, and again, not give up the 3-point shot.
Overall, St. Bonaventure has struggled at the free throw line. 69% from the stripe coming into this game. And here in this one, that's the exact number that the Bonnies have, 69% from the stripe.
Here's the thing with St. Bonaventure. They have 3 guys that are very capable 3-point shooters. You've got Jay Adams, who's 45, 46% from three. You've got Posley has consistently knocked him down in these games, and Cumberbatch is a good three-point shooter too. So they have a lot of weapons on the floor to make this three, and they have the opportunity if they want to get a quick two.
Here we go. 10 seconds remaining in the game. Posley shovels it back. Adams for three. The shot doesn't go, but he's going to the line for 3 free throws and a chance to tie up this game.
What a great play out of the timeout by Mark Schmidt. Great execution by his team. Posley decoyed everybody by going to the basket, and the screen set by Ndoye freed up Adams for that three-point shot. Pittsburgh very fortunate that that's not a 4-point play. He had a good look to knock down the three and get himself to the free throw line.
And Newkirk fouls out on that play. And Jay Adams is going to the line. Adams, a 74% free throw shooter coming into this one. He is 4 of 4 at the line today.
Well, a lot of things being discussed right now if you're both coaches. One, if you're St. Bonaventure, obviously you want to make all three, but when Jay Adams gets away from that huddle, he might want to tell a couple guys, hey, listen, you know, on the third shot, if something happens, we're going to tip this ball and keep it alive. So right here, Pittsburgh with no timeouts, they have to not only box out on these free throws, but they have to set up their press break because they don't have a timeout.
So 3 free throws upcoming for the freshman Jalen Adams. The first one goes down. Pittsburgh 55, St. Bonaventure 53.
I asked the coaching staff what was so special about this freshman, why he's playing so well. They said he's poised.
The second one doesn't go. Huge break for the Panthers.
Yeah, huge break for the Panthers right here. He needs to miss this free throw right now, and St. Bonaventure will need to tip the ball.
The free throw attempt by Adams goes.
Well, Mark Schmidt's going to play the percentage right here, see if he can get a quick foul, give himself 5 seconds to get another shot off. So good strategy as well.
5.9 seconds remaining. Jones to trigger it in. Feeds Young. Got a foul. And they do. Pittsburgh going to the line up by 1.
That was my greatest fear. If you don't miss the free throw and try for the tip play, if the ball gets inbounded and all of a sudden seconds start ticking off that clock, 3 seconds is not a lot of time to get the ball full court and score. Now, if Pittsburgh makes both of those free throws, the long pass comes into play for St. Bonaventure.
The reason for the stoppage in play right now is Denzel Gregg picked up his 5th foul on that play. So Mark Schmidt taking the allotted time to make a substitution, using it as a timeout.
Well, we already saw Mark Schmidt. His team is prepared in special situations. The way they diagrammed that last three-point play to get the free throws for Adams was terrific. Now in this situation on the made or missed free throws, he wants to give his team something to throw the ball long and get a good look for his team. Hopefully Posley is the guy who gets the ball to get this last shot for his team.
The Panthers trying to improve to 113-3 against non-conference opponents here inside the Peterson Event Center. Big free throw made by Young. One more coming up. Has a chance to make it a 3-point game.
Make or miss. One possession game right here.
Puts it in. 57-54. Pittsburgh over St. Bonaventure. 3.1 seconds to go.
You've got to watch the home run play with somebody getting the ball somewhere in the middle of the court between the three-point line and half court and throwing it to one of those receivers.
Forcing the heave. Ball up in the air. Knocked out of bounds. Pittsburgh ball.
Not a great pass. The long pass was right by the sideline, and Posey never had a chance to really get possession of that ball. But if you're St. Bonaventure right here, you played a terrific ball game. You might come up a little bit short, but you have played a terrific game.
Quick foul. Going back to the line is the sophomore, Michael Young. The NCAA Women's Volleyball Championship is starting right now on ESPN3. Pittsburgh leading St. Bonaventure here 57-54 with 0.5 of a second remaining.
A lot of positive for Jamie Dixon's team as well, too. Defensively, they did a much better job in this game, not giving up a lot of dribble penetration. A very good job as well, playing a little bit more in transition and fast break as well. And I thought the way they were almost seemed like the game was tilting in St. Bonaventure's favor against the zone. We're able to get back in rhythm offensively against the zone, get the lead, and then hold on down the stretch with free throw shooting and some key plays.
The Panthers will improve to 6-3. It's been a rough ride in the early going.
A lot of young players. You know, the only senior is Cam Wright, who hasn't played, hardly at all. Derek Randall, we haven't seen in this game. So a lot of young basketball players on the floor for Pittsburgh.
The officials took a look at the replay and added 0.2 of a second to the game, so 0.7 remaining. Free throw is good by Young. And that will wrap it up. The Pittsburgh Panthers have now won 26 straight non-conference home games. Once again, final score, Pitt 58, St. Bonaventure 54. Coming up next, it's the NCAA Women's Volleyball Championship presented by Northwestern Mutual. So long from Pittsburgh.